Hey, my name is Jim Stahl, and I'm the engineering manager here at Marmon IEI in Cape Coral. We produce the Dekoron Unitherm brand of pre-insulated and traced tubing products. The big thing that separates us from everybody else, at least in this house, is the fact that we don't make anything with wire. We kid sometimes, we have the wire with the big hole in the middle. Our product is all tubing. It's insulated, and it's used in power plants, refineries, and chemical facilities to transport steam or fluids from one point to another. So rather than have electrical current, we have oil, water, steam, and everything else in our lines. We do taping and we do extrusion, which is similar to the wire and cable plants, but that's really the only that is similar. We have a different customer base. We have different specs that we work to. We have a different method of selling the product and different timeline for the customers. We typically load products and sell them within the same month that we get the order. So it goes from quote to order to sale all in the same month. And that's a big thing that makes us different. Well, I actually started out doing injection molding, and we had a chance to move to a new company, really. It was called Samuel Moore and Company back in the early 70s. And I started out there as a manufacturing engineer, designing tooling, and kind of went from there and got more into the production of the tubing and then the traced products. And when we had a chance to change to product development for the traced products, moved over to that, and the rest is history. It's not stagnant. We're always doing something different. We're always trying something new. We have here at Cape Coral, we have probably 8 standard products. Everything else is custom, which means we have to design it from the ground up. And it's not like taking, say, a standard, say UL 1588 for wire, and say, okay, I got to have this conductor, I got to have this. No, we need to know what the pressures are, what the fluids are, what the ambients are, tube size, and do all that work, and then try to test it to make sure that that's going to do what the customer wants. So that keeps things exciting down here. A lot of change. Well, there's a couple. One, I've got a patent on a product that I designed. That's pretty exciting. It was for continuous emissions monitoring system. So that was one. The other is we did a job for a chemical plant that required a totally different way of heating the tubing. So instead of using steam or electric trace, which are normal products, we had to design a product that used a heat transfer fluid to heat the tubing. It had a very tight temperature range that it could be. So that took quite a bit. It took all manual calculations. Took us probably 5 days just to do the design work, doing all the calculations. And at the end, we came up with a product that satisfied the customer, and it's been running for probably about 15 years now. They haven't had a problem with it. So that was probably the greatest, most difficult thing we worked on down here. The new product that we're looking at is called Dekotrace. This is what's known as an isolated steam tracer. And what this used for is when you're tracing large diameter pipes, say a 4-inch, 6-inch, 10-inch, with steam, sometimes you don't want the pipe to get too hot. So the way that you do that historically is that you take a steam tracer, which is just a bare tube, and you put something between it and the pipe so that the bare tube that's running maybe 300, 350 degrees doesn't overheat the pipe. So what this product does is it has a jacket and insulation that will reduce the amount of heat put into the pipe so that you can use steam at 50, 150 psi to warm the pipe up, but it doesn't get so hot that it boils off everything in the pipe. That's the whole purpose behind the isolated steam tracer. Now, there's ways of doing that conventionally, putting a block under it, putting insulation under it, but those are pretty time consuming. And you get a problem with, do you get too much heat, not enough heat, spots where the tube maybe get too close to the pipe, a lot of different actions there. But this gives you a very consistent heat input to the pipe throughout, and it's a lot easier to put in. So that's the whole purpose behind the product. And what we're looking at Dekoron Unitherm is to go beyond just offering this tubing, which we've done a lot of testing with and see how it works. But we're also working to understand how it reacts to pipes at different temperatures, different sizes, so that we can further help the customer to put the proper size tubing, the proper number of tubing on his pipe to get the temperatures that he wants. And that's an ongoing project for us. And it all comes to, servicing the customer, listening to the voice of the customer, what he wants, what he needs, and offering a service to bring that to him. Differences that we have is we looked at the competitive product, and one of the issues that we've been told about, the competitive product has got a jacket material that's prone to damage during installation. And what we've looked at is coming up with a tougher jacket, something that will withstand the rigors of installation without being damaged when they put it in. I went to school to become a mechanical engineer, got a bachelor's in mechanical engineering, and I specialized in plastic processing. So I learned things about tool design, extrusion, injection molding, transfer molding for rubber, anything to do with making something out of plastics. I'm on the ASTM standards committee for stainless steel tubing. And being a voting member, I get to take a look at the standards. And I have, had some comments to the committee about standard changes for the stainless steels that we use that would probably affect the product, the way the product worked. So we went through the committee to modify the requests so that we weren't hurting our customers. So that's pretty much, and that's the way the consensus standards work. A number of years ago, I was on the IEEE committee as an alternate when we were first working on IEEE 515. And that's the standard that we use for not only the design of heat trace bundles, but the design of self-regulating heating cables. So that was a pretty monumental task. The other, there's a group called the Institute of Clean Air Companies, ICAC, and they're just a group of people that work with continuous emissions monitoring and that type of equipment. And I wrote the standard for bundles, trace bundles for that committee. So That's probably the highlight there. Marmon IEI isn't afraid to try something. We're always looking at new materials. We're always looking at ways to better manufacture for our good customers. And I think that's, with the amount of work that we're doing, the expertise that we have, especially the guys, Carly Crawford and her group up at INT Center. Shout out to Carly and that gang, because they're really the backbone of a lot of our innovation work that's going on right now. So, and I think, having that is one of the things that really allows Marmon to innovate quickly and, bring products out that meet the customer's needs. Our corporate corporate standard of servicing the customer. We have a corporate mindset that look at the voice of the customer, find out what he needs, and develop something or find something that actually services his issue, corrects his issue. We don't just try to sell him something and say, well, we hope it works. We have the background, we have the expertise throughout Marmon IEI to be able to handle the type of questions and come up with a product that is exactly what's needed. That's easy. Servicing the customer. That's number one. Don't fear failure. The old saw about Rome wasn't built in a day. That's true for all engineering. The first time is not always going to be correct. You're always going to go to phase 2, phase 3. My daughter got me a t-shirt one time that is this typical engineer. It says make, fail, make, fail, make. But you can't be afraid of failure. You can't expect it to be right the first time. You've got to go into it with the mindset that, you're going to have to make some changes. And, don't get blinders on that says, this is the only way I'm going to do it. That's probably the best advice. Good question. I've been in this industry for over 50 years. I don't know what I'd be doing. It'd have to be something with engineering. I mean, that's what I am. I'm an engineer. My wife tells me all the time, you're an engineer, you're different. That's true. Well, I think part of it is we were the innovator. We designed the first pre-insulated bundles. We held the first patents. Customers know that when they come to us, they're going to get something that is going to meet their needs. We're going to do it in a timely fashion. We're not going to just throw something at them hoping it'll work. And we've got a good track record of doing exactly that for the last 50 years. So I think that's what makes us the leader.
Perfect.
Well, I think they should trust Marmon IEI because of the brands that Marmon IEI contains. That's where they've had their success. You look at Dekoron Unitherm, you look at Vitalink, you look at any of the other brands that are in the Marmon IEI group, and they've all had continued success for a long time. And you don't get that from making bad products. We have the breadth of experience throughout all the groups at Marmon IEI to solve the most complex problems. It's the amount of talent is just phenomenal, and that's what makes us the best in the industry. Well, to learn more about Dekoron Unitherm products, contact us at marmoniei.com or call us today at 1-800-633-5015.